Ambassador Zethkar had dismissed humanity with a wave of his four-fingered hand, his crystalline features gleaming with condescension. Your species resides on what you call Earth, a backwater planet in an unremarkable system. You lack the technological sophistication for meaningful participation in galactic affairs. Admiral Sarah Chen had remained silent during that humiliating first contact session 3 years ago, her jaw clenched as the hegemony representative continued his assessment. Earth's delegation had traveled aboard their crude fusion drives to the neutral station at Proxima Centauri, only to be told they were centuries behind the galactic standard. Your primitive chemical rockets and fusion technology are quaint, Zethkar had sneered. Perhaps in a few millennia, when you develop proper antimatter drives and quantum shields, we might reconsider your application for associate membership. The Hegemony Council had laughed, a sound like breaking glass from a dozen different alien species. They saw humans as amusing primitives, barely worth acknowledging. That was their first mistake. Now, 3 years later, Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching through the viewport as a hegemony patrol fleet approached Earth's outer system. 12 vessels, each one sleek and advanced, their hulls shimmering with energy shields that could deflect anything in humanity's supposed arsenal. Admiral, Communications Officer Rodriguez reported, they're broadcasting on all frequencies. Same message as always. Surrender for processing and relocation to designated human reservations. Chen's lips curved into a cold smile. Have they detected our fleet yet? Negative, ma'am. Stealth systems are holding perfectly. Lieutenant, Commander Park looked up from his tactical station, confusion evident in his voice. Admiral, I'm still not understanding how we managed to deploy 700 ships without the hegemony noticing our construction efforts. Chen walked to the central holographic display, where Earth hung like a blue jewel surrounded by what appeared to be empty space. That's because they never bothered to look closely at our primitive technology, Park. They saw fusion drives and chemical rockets and dismissed everything else. She gestured to the display, and suddenly the space around Earth lit up with hundreds of red dots, each representing a human warship previously invisible to sensors. They never realized that our backwater engineers had been working on something they never imagined possible, Chen continued. While they perfected antimatter and quantum technology, we took a different path. We perfected what they considered obsolete. Dr. Elizabeth Nakamura, the fleet's chief scientist, stepped forward. The hegemony uses energy-based everything, weapons, shields, propulsion. But energy can be detected, deflected, and countered. We went the opposite direction. Kinetic systems, Park breathed, understanding dawning on his face. Exactly. Railguns accelerating tungsten rods to significant fractions of light speed. Magnetic catapults launching swarms of guided projectiles. And our ships. Nakamura's eyes gleamed with pride. Built from materials they've never encountered. Metamaterial hulls that bend electromagnetic radiation around them, making us effectively invisible to their sensors. The Hegemony patrol fleet had reached the asteroid belt, their formation confident and unhurried. Admiral Chen watched their approach with the patience of a predator. They think they're hunting primitives with sharp sticks, she murmured. They have no idea they've walked into a wolf pack. Admiral, Rodriguez called out, the lead hegemony vessel is hailing Earth directly. They're demanding immediate surrender and threatening to begin orbital bombardment in 1 hour. Chen nodded grimly. The hegemony's standard protocol when dealing with primitive species was simple. Overwhelming force followed by subjugation. Entire civilizations had fallen to their energy weapons and impenetrable shields. But they had never faced humanity's particular brand of ingenuity. All ships, this is Admiral Chen, she broadcast on the encrypted human fleet channel. Operation Backwater is a go. Remember, they expect energy weapons and flashy explosions. Let's give them something they've never seen before. The first salvo came without warning. 700 human ships dropped their stealth fields simultaneously, each one launching volleys of hypervelocity projectiles. The tungsten rods, accelerated to nearly 15% of light speed, crossed the vast distances in seconds. The hegemony shields, designed to deflect energy beams and plasma bolts, offered no resistance to solid matter moving at relativistic speeds. The first 3 alien ships simply disintegrated, their hulls penetrating by projectiles that transferred kinetic energy measured in kilotons. "Impossible," came the panicked transmission from the surviving hegemony vessels. "Energy readings show no weapons fire. How are they?" The second wave hit before they could finish the transmission. Guided kinetic interceptors, launched from concealed human positions throughout the solar system, struck the remaining ships with surgical precision. Each projectile had been programmed with targeting data gathered during 3 years of careful observation. Within minutes, the entire hegemony patrol fleet was debris. Admiral Chen allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before activating the general broadcast system. Her message would reach every hegemony world within range, carried by their own communication networks. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Space Command," she began, her voice carrying across the void. "You called us primitives. You dismissed our technology as crude and obsolete. You threatened our world and our people." She paused, looking out at the wreckage floating in Earth's outer system. "You forgot that sometimes the old ways work best. You perfected energy weapons, so we perfected kinetic ones. You built quantum shields, so we built projectiles that don't care about shields. You created detection networks that see energy signatures, so we made ships that use none." The holographic display showed new contacts, hegemony reinforcement, fleets jumping into nearby systems, their formations already adjusting based on the destruction they had witnessed. "You want to see what a backwater planet can do?" Chen continued her broadcast. "Then come. But understand this. Every ship you send will face 700 human vessels that your sensors cannot see, armed with weapons your shields cannot stop, crewed by a species that has survived ice ages, world wars, and plagues through one simple principle: adaptation." She cut the transmission and turned to her crew. "All ships, prepare for Phase 2. The hegemony will send everything they have. Now, time to show them why you should never underestimate a species that learned to hunt with rocks and sticks." Outside the viewport, space began to fill with new contacts as the human fleet repositioned. Each ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, invisible to energy-based sensors, armed with weapons that turned mass and velocity into devastating force, crewed by beings who had turned survival into an art form. The hegemony had called Earth a backwater planet. They were about to learn that sometimes the quiet ones are the most dangerous. As the enemy reinforcements approached, Admiral Chen smiled. Humanity had always been good at exceeding expectations, especially the low ones.